So I'm going to look at where the difference of two squares comes out of, so that you understand that it's not just, coming out of nowhere. And then I'll do the difference of two cubes as well. And then maybe you can try and figure out the sum of two cubes yourselves. I'm going to try and use the box method. If you don't like the box method, that's fine. I can always show you in class, maybe, the other method, or maybe I will get to both, but I'm going to start off with the difference two squares. And what we're going to have a look at is, we're going to actually have a look at it as a trinomial. So what do we have? We have our x squared to start off with, and then we have a plus 0xy minus a y squared. Okay, that's it as a trinomial. What have I done? Is that line the same as that line? Yes, exactly the same. I've done nothing. I've added in none of these. Okay, it's only just because if I go into the box method, I want a trinomial. I want to be able to split the middle. So what are the coefficients here? We have 1 and 1. So 1 by 1 is 1. What are the factors of 1? That's subtract to give me 0. Well, that's a 1 and a 1. So I hope, now I'm gonna explain that again. But so my x squared is going in here like any trinomial would. My minus y squared is going in here like any trinomial would. And I'm splitting up the middle by looking at the coefficient of the first and the last. I multiply 1 by 1 and I get the guide number is 1. What are the factors of 1? Well, 1 by 1. Do those factors subtract to give me 0? Yes, they do. So I have a plus 1xy here and a minus 1xy here. And now I go off and I do my box method. What do they have in common? X. What must be here? X. What do these have in common? A minus y or a minus 1y. And what do these have in common? And I'll always take, see, I'm taking this sign here and I'm going to take this sign here, and they have a y in common. So I end up with the factors x plus y by x minus y. Okay, so this, when you were maybe told at junior cert, oh, throw down your two brackets, it's the first minus the second times the first plus the second, or the other way around, whichever way. 2 times 3 is the same as 3 times 2. This is why you were told you could do it. Because it is technically a trinomial and you can work it out to be so. If you don't like the box method, then it would have been the exact same thing anyway. So we're back up here and we're saying, oh, what are the factors of 1? So that's my guide number. That subtract to give me 0. So if you just didn't like to put it into the, sorry, I'll just put this here. So if you just didn't like to put it into the box method, it's a plus xy and a minus xy minus y squared. What's common here? X. What's left? X plus y minus, what's common here? A y. What's left? X and then plus y. I know I'm right. X plus y is one bracket and x minus y is the other bracket. Okay, so the difference of two squares, you may want to learn it off, or you may want to at least understand where it comes out of. Always up to yourself, but everything in maths makes sense. And if you want to check if you're right or wrong, you could multiply out your answers. But I definitely know I'm right here. Even by doing this method, I can see my two factors match. So x plus y is one factor, and whatever is left is the other factor. So that's the difference two squares. I'm going to now look at the difference two cubes, and I'm going to look at it from the perspective of the box method. So I'm going to, sorry, there are my dogs giving out in the background. So if we keep, this idea over here of where we're looking at, we have an x cubed, okay, and we will be splitting it up here into 6 this time because we're looking at cubes. And again, as I said, we're looking at this idea where we're going to add a 1xy minus a 1xy, etc. So if we look at an x cubed, let's add a 1x squared y and subtract a 1x squared y. Let's add a 1xy squared. Let's subtract a 1xy squared. And let's subtract a y cubed. So I'm kind of just using this idea here to get this long bit here. So the x cubed is here, the minus y cubed is here, and look, I've done nothing. They all cancel off. I've actually done nothing. I've just used this concept here in order to decide, okay, so I'm going to put in a 1 plus 1x squared y there, and I'm going to put in, we have to see, we're going diagonally, a minus 1x squared y there. I'm going to put in a plus 1 xy squared, and I'm going to put in a minus, again you're diagonally, minus 1 xy squared. I have done nothing different. This is still the difference of two cubes with a load of extra things added in, which actually when you look at them just add to give you 0. Just like here. I added in things, but they are actually nothing. And I have the difference two squares there. So I hope I'm explaining that slowly enough that you understand that I've done nothing different. This is x cubed minus y cubed, and these cancel each other out, and these cancel each other out. But this helps me find my factors. So what's common with all these three? They have an x in common. What's common with all these three? So we take that sign, and they all have a minus y in common. If that's x, what must be up here is x squared. So if that's a minus y cubed, what must be up here is a plus y squared. And this is just like a Sudoku puzzle where they're just trying to work it out. What do these two have in common? They have a plus xy. And I'm done. So that's why when you're doing the difference of two cubes, it's the first minus the second. It's the first squared plus the first times the second plus the second squared. Multiply that out and you would get this. So maybe if you want to try it for yourself for the sum of two cubes, see if you can work it out like that. This is like, you don't have to understand all this, but I'm someone who loves to understand stuff in maths and not just take anyone's words that it all works out, or that these are definitely the factors of this. I'm like, how did that happen? So I did this by box method, difference two squares, the guide number, the difference two squares. I've done this one by the box method. I'm sure you could easily do it by the guide number as well. And maybe if you want to, you could try that. So I hope that helps explain where these factors come out of.